The final exams of my high school was near, or you can call them the only exams I used to study for. There were a total of 6 different subjects that I had to give a test for, spread it over a month from 24th Feb to 23rd March. The first 4 exams went normally as expected. It was only a day before the 5th one on 16th March when I first heard about a virus spreading all over the world. My mom heard about it somewhere and told me about it. She even gave me a mask and told me to wear it when I would go for my exam the next day. And of course, I didn't take it seriously. I've heard about diseases spreading multiple times throughout the years, but never really heard about them again. So I took the mask and kept it in my bag because I didn't want to be the only person in the school wearing it. But the next day, while I was giving the exam, our supervisor came and announced that if anyone has a mask with them, then they can wear it. I then started thinking that this virus might actually be serious, but still didn't think much about it as it was too crazy to be true. It was only a week later when I realized its seriousness, after a nationwide lockdown was declared in my country. My last remaining exam, which was scheduled to be on 23rd March, was postponed. I was happy about it as I didn't study for the exam at all, but also a bit worried as I will have to listen to my parents shouting at me to study for a longer time. Anyways, after studying hard for weeks, I finally closed my book and started enjoying life. In my house and with my phone. To be honest, nothing really changed for me in this quarantine, as I really used to hang out with my friends when things were normal. It was also at this time when I realized that I used to waste a lot of time doing non-useful things like watching people build the most secret underground house. So I started this YouTube channel which would give me some work to do every day, and also because I liked it and really wanted to give it a try. Fast forward a couple of months, the exam that was still remaining was finally cancelled after getting postponed a couple of times. Our result was declared a month later, and don't worry, I passed. Our school then told us to physically report to the campus and collect some really important documents that will be required to get admission in colleges. Now listen, my family took the COVID-19 precautions very seriously, and by seriously, I meant that we actually followed them. So going to school, which was quite far away, was a big thing and I had to be careful. Unlike most of my friends who kept hanging out and didn't really care about wearing a mask, some of them even believe that COVID-19 is a conspiracy. So I started planning how to go to school. I could think of 2 possible ways, either by a bus or by an auto rickshaw. Buses would be cheap, but would also be crowded, so not an option. On the other hand, auto rickshaws would be much safer, but would also be a lot costlier. Having no other option, I had to go in it. But then I thought of an idea. If I convince one of my friends to come with me, then we can split the cost. So I started asking my friends who lived in my locality and still haven't collected their documents. After some convincing, a friend finally agreed. Let's call him Bob for this video. We decided to meet at 11 the next morning. But the next day, he messaged me at 10 saying that he can't come. This wasn't anything new. He used to do this all the time whenever we planned for something. So I got ready, and as I was about to leave, he messaged me again saying that he's coming. I'm getting ready. I'll message you in 15 minutes and then leave the house. I waited for 15 minutes and as I expected, I didn't get any message from him. I messaged him and even called him, but he didn't reply. He then messaged me back 30 minutes later saying that his battery died and told me to leave the house. I left the house and got in an auto rickshaw. When I reached the location where I was supposed to pick him up, I didn't find him. So I called him and asked where he was. He said that he was on his way. After 10 minutes of hearing the driver curse, I finally saw him. He apologized for being late and got in the auto. I was now scared that he would now raise his hand for a handshake and I would have to awkwardly reject it, but luckily he didn't. And as I've mentioned earlier, my friends didn't take precautions seriously. So when I would see them in school, I was quite sure that they would want to shake hands, and when I would say no, then they will make fun of me. And I know, they are stupid for not following the precautions, but it's still very awkward when that happens. Anyways, as I thought, when I reached school, I saw 2 of my friends standing next to the entrance. I tried waving my hands and walk away, but they wanted to shake hands. I very awkwardly said no, so they started laughing. I then went in and took all the important documents. As I was about to leave, a teacher, well known among the students, was also leaving. So all the students went to him and started giving goodbye hugs. I tried not making any eye contact with him, because if I did, then I would have to greet him in some way. Handshake wasn't an option, and waving hands isn't the best way to greet a teacher when you are meeting them for the last time. So I just stood there and didn't look towards them at all. After all the goodbye hugs, we left the school. Bob earlier told me that he would go home in his friend's car and asked me if I wanted to join. I said yes, as it would be more convenient. and would also save some money. But as we got out of the school, they both suddenly decided to go to a friend's house who lived near the school and told me that it would at least take an hour. Come on, I won't wait that long just to save some money. I mean, I could, but you know, Bob. So I went home alone and also paid full price of the auto rickshaw.